to marry this woman?
We do.
And I ask you, who gives this woman to marry this man?
We do.
You may be seated. Welcome, everyone. We begin this ceremony with the symbolic gift of roses, a gift of beauty and gratitude to the women that gave life to the bride and groom, to their mothers. A marriage brings two individuals into a unique relationship with each other, one which grows and develops as each continues to experience him or her and others. Mature love is a union where each individual's integrity is preserved. Such love allows us to retain our identity as individuals. In love, that paradox occurs that two people become one and yet still remain two. This celebration of marriage is an outward token of an inward union of hearts, a union created by loving purposes and kept by abiding will. It is for us to acknowledge and witness the true marriage which already dwells in the hearts of Andy and Missy. May their lives be full of joy, and may the home being established today be one of peace and of love. And I'll ask Kathy Anderson to please come forward with a reading for the couple.
What I Used to Think by Tara J. Morrow. I used to think I wanted to be with someone who shared my same interests and passions. Someone who thought like I thought and believed what I believed. And what I found was you. You have your own ideas about life, and they're so different from mine. But you know, I've learned a lot from our differences. Our love challenges my mind and forces me to broaden my horizons, to look beyond my comfort zone. And now we've discovered a new comfort in being together, in learning from one another, in the whole give and take of this relationship. Because of you, my world has grown so much, not to mention my heart.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, I'm sure many of you know the love story that brings us to today, to this blessed event. But when Missy and Andy asked me to marry them over a year ago, I think it was that we met, I wanted to know what some of what transpired that brought us to this place, to this day of marriage and joining. So I asked them, how did they meet? And Andy said, my housemate Preston and his girlfriend were going to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show. They invited Missy along, and they all met at our apartment to get ready. I was just minding my own business, he says, trying to avoid going along with them, when I walked into the kitchen to see Missy petting Preston's cat. She followed me into my studio and would not leave me alone. I didn't know how to react to a girl talking to me. I kept trying to work on a song that I was writing and try to carry on a conversation with this pretty girl that was now in my personal bubble. She tried very hard to get me to come along to the movie with them, but I resisted and ended up staying home. After that night, she kept tagging along with her friend to our apartment, and we'd end up walking around the neighborhood and getting to know one another. It's always interesting to hear the other side of those stories, the different perspective on the same night. Missy said Andy and I one night went with his roommate, Preston, then his then girlfriend and I were going to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Andy was sitting alone in his studio. His hair at that time was styled in a mohawk. He was writing music by himself. I was all dressed up in very tight black Rocky Horror Picture Show attire with blonde curly hair and an updo. So basically, we were very much opposites in appearance and demeanor. The first thing I noticed about Andy was the fact that he was wearing camo high tops, black socks, and shorts. Black socks and shorts. So here was this shy guy, this nerd sheesh, quietly hanging by the fridge, waiting to be introduced, but not wanting to be pushy, to be seen. I think he might have actually shook my hand when we were first introduced. We had a few hours before we had to go to this show, so I started talking with Andy. Reed, I cornered him in the studio and didn't give him much of a choice. Usually I'm not that pushy with people, but my instincts told me that with him, if I wanted to get to know him, I would have to. So I think that was Cupid, with a little arrow in your heart telling you to follow him into his studio. He was shy, quiet, and cute. It was kind of like pulling teeth to get him to talk to me at first, but later he warmed up and we got talking about little things. Since I was essentially the third wheel that night, I begged and pleaded for Andy to come along with us, but he steadfastly refused. Luckily for him, I was intrigued enough with what I had seen so far that I wanted to get to know him better. So I came back a few days later, and the rest, as they say, is history. I asked him what are some of the things that attracted you to the other, and Andy said, what I think pulled me in the most was the fact that we could talk about just about anything. No subject was taboo, and we could spend hours upon hours just talking. I loved her singing voice, and she was also very cute. Missy said, Andy is not like anyone else I've ever dated. He's so much better than that. He's kind and smart and cares about other people. It's the entire package of Andy. The relationship he has with his parents and his brother, his art, his music, his intellect, even his nerdiness attracted me to him. Actually, especially his nerdiness. He can cook, which is always a huge plus. I agree. I asked him, what are some of the things that make your relationship work and feel will make your relationship last? Andy said, neither of us can stay mad at one another. We always come around, even after a big fight. We can admit when we were wrong and move past it. We've never had a fight last more than a day because we fix it up before going to sleep. We are also very different, which is a good thing. We complement one another. We can teach each other how to do new things and push one another to try new things. Missy said, communication. The biggest part is communication. We do have disagreements and arguments, but they get settled relatively quickly. The important part is that we work through them. We also have similar goals and are supportive of each other's dreams and ambitions. We both want a family and careers. Neither of us expect the other to give up their dreams. Support, equal delegation of responsibilities, and cooperation. It makes it all work for us. And I asked them lastly to just tell me some of the things that they love about one another. Andy said, I love that we can have fun out with friends or stay in and watch a movie. I love that she will watch me and encourage me to play video games. I love the way she laughs and can be goofy with me. I love that she's not afraid to speak her mind and I can trust what she has to say. It's hard to narrow it down, but I just love her. Missy says, Andy has a great sense of humor and he makes me laugh. There are times when I'm having a bad day or crabby moment and he'll do or say something that will cheer me up. It's hard to convince him that you're annoyed when you're making a fake frown and trying not to laugh. It's one of the reasons that I know he'll be a great dad. I love that he's in touch with... I love that he's in touch with both his feminine and masculine side. I think that for a person to be balanced is good for a partner. They need to be. When we first started dating, I told him that I didn't want to do any of those dating games that people play, and I didn't like being lied to, even about stupid things. If I ask if an outfit looks bad, he tells me. I seriously want to know, and I appreciate that. I could go on and on, but to sum it up, I love him because he's thoughtful, creative, and generous person. He makes me laugh and he makes me cry, usually over good things. I feel blessed that the universe has given me such a wonderful person. Missy and Andy have written their own vows to each other. So I will have them now read those vows, beginning with
We've come a long way from where we started. We have traded butterflies in our stomachs. We're brushing our teeth together. We've traded fear and excitement of the unknown for familiarity and enjoyment of the moment. We've traded so many things, but there isn't a thing in this world I trade for what we have. We know what we are and what we're not. I know I'm not a writer or a poet, but I will try for you. I know I'm not a dancer, but I have tried for you. I know I love you. I know the future is not set in stone. For everything we know about one another and the direction of our lives, there is infinitely more that we do not. As we embark on this adventure together, our stories will forever be intertwined, and I can't wait to see where this novel leads us. I promise never to stop turning the page, never to set this book down, and to make it to the end of the world and back with you.
And he said he's not a poet. Vows that Missy has written.
I remember the first time I realized I loved you. We were sitting in the car and I was listening to something you said. I don't remember what it was, but I do remember that I commented back with, "God, you're so funny, I love you." I said it to you every time you made me laugh, and I tried to say it in a tone that I would use with a friend. I didn't want to scare you away, but really what I meant was simply I love you. I love so many things about you that it would take longer than our ceremony to get into. But I will say this. For me, the best thing about being with you is the smile I get when I think about who you are and what we have together. And that brings with this sense of peace, which isn't something I've had much of, so it's precious to me. Today I pledge my love and commitment to you before friends and family. You know my faults and you love me anyway. You balance me out and ground me where no one else ever has. And where days with me can be like riding a roller coaster. That's truly a miraculous thing. I've never been as happy as I am now with you. As I am now that I am with you. I've gone through so much in this life already, and while there were dark times, I realized that I needed to go through them to really appreciate what I have today. You're the person that I want to grow old with, the person who I'm proud to start and raise a family with. I want to see this life through to its end with you by my side, and I feel truly blessed that you feel the same way. I love you.
The wedding rings. The story of the wedding ring is in a way like the ring itself, without beginning and without end. No one can tell for certain how far back the wedding ring goes. The wedding ring is a simple affirmation of mutual love. We need not wear it to show that we are true to our marriage vows. The band is no evidence that we are true to each other. Therefore, Missy and Andy will not be exchanging ring as a symbol of their vows made to one another, but as a symbol of their past already shared and the union they wish to share in the future. As the ring is endless, so can their future be together. And so, we'll have the ring, starting, Missy put the ring, this left hand, with the past already shared. With the past already shared and the future still ahead of you. Missy has given Andy the ring, and if you'll repeat after me, just as the circle is without end.
Just as the circle is without end.
My love for you is eternal.
My love for you is eternal.
And my commitment to you will never fail.
And my commitment to you.
And Andy, if you would please take the ring that you have brought for Missy. And repeat after me. Just as the circle is without end.
Just as the circle is without end.
My love for you is eternal.
My love for you is eternal.
And my commitment to you will never fail.
My commitment to you will never fail.
Know now, before you go further, that since your lives have crossed, you have formed ties between each other. As you seek to enter this state of matrimony, you should strive to make real the ideals which make meaning that give meaning to both this ceremony and the institute of marriage. The promises made and the ties that are bound here today will greatly strengthen your union. You will now have the tying of the knot. Bless this union with the gifts of communion of the heart, mind, body in the knowledge of the growth found in sharing of silences. Bless this union with the gifts of warm hearth and home, the heat of heart's passion, and the light created by both the lighting and darkest of times. Bless this union with the gifts of deep commitment and an all-encompassing passion. Bless this union with the gift of a firm foundation on which to enrich your lives and to form a stable home in which you may always dwell. Each of these blessings emphasize the things which will help to build a happy and successful union. Yet they are only tools which you may use together in order to create that which you seek. So I bid you take the other's left hand. You're already there. Wonderful. So I ask you, Andy, will you cause her pain? If so, say I may.
I may.
Is that your intent?
No.
And I ask you, Missy, will you cause him pain?
I may.
Is that your intent?
No.
Will you share each other's pain and seek to ease it? If so, say yes.
Yes.
Andy, will you share her laughter? If so, say yes.
Yes.
And will you share his laughter?
Yes.
Will both of you look for the brightness in life and the positivity in each other? If so, say yes.
Yes.
The first chord and the binding is made. So I ask you, Andy, will you burden her? If so, say I may.
I may.
Is that your intent?
No.
And Missy, will you burden him? Is that your intent? To both, will you share the burdens of each so that the spirits may grow in this union? If so, say yes.
Yes.
And so the second chord, second binding is made. Andy, will you share in her dreams? If so, say yes.
Yes.
And Missy, will you share in his dreams? If so, say yes. And will you both dream together to create new realities and hopes? If so, say yes.
Yes.
And so the binding is made. And Andy, will you cause her anger? If so, say I may.
I may.
Is that your intent?
No.
And Missy, will you cause him anger? If so, say I may.
I might.
What is that your intent?
No.
Will you take the heat of anger and use it to temper the strength of this union? If so, please say we will.
We will.
And so the binding is made. Andy, will you honor her? If so, please say I will.
I will.
And Missy, will you honor him?
I will.
Will you seek to never cause to break that honor? If so, please say, we shall never do so.
We shall never do so.
The binding is made. The knots of this binding are not formed by these cords, but instead by your vows. I'll have you take this in your right hand. And the knot is tied. Either of you may drop the cords, for as always you hold in your own hand the ability to break this union. Missy and Andy, when this day is done, take this knot and place it in your home for all to see, for this knot will be a symbol of the vows you have made of love, commitment, and respect. knot has been tied. A final blessing on the couple. Marriage is what brought us here today. Marriage, that blessed arrangement, the dweem within a dweem. Did y'all see The Princess Bride? You're also moved by your dad. And love, true love, will follow you forever. So treasure your love. Missy and Andy, you have come here today before us as your witnesses and have expressed your desire to become husband and wife. You have shown your love and affection by joining hands and have made promises of love and devotion each to the other and have sealed these promises by the giving and receiving of rings and the knotting of the cords. Therefore, it is my privilege as your officiant and by the authority